guys, welcome back to another episode of Skincare Anarchy. I'm so glad you are back. Today I have a phenomenal guest once again, but especially with this brand because I have a very special place in my heart for this brand. So, without further ado, I want to introduce you guys to the founding partner for Janeiro, Camilla Pierotti. Welcome to the show, Camilla. I'm so excited that you're here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for the great intro on the brand.
No, I can't praise it enough. I love it. It's my favorite, it's been my favorite body care brand for a long time, and the scent is something I'm addicted to. So, I'm super excited to talk to you about, everything brand related, but also about you and your journey and your background in the whole industry and, what led to SDJ.
Yes, of course. I mean, should I just dig in and tell you
Yeah. Start from the beginning. The more stories, the better.
more the better? Wonderful. That's actually my favorite thing to do is storytelling, and I think that's the why our brand has been so successful because we do tell our story. We're three founders, and we all have such different journeys. And my journey obviously started when I was born in Brazil. I'm from Rio. And
Yeah.
when we were young, my family moved over here to the US. And it's funny because it was never meant to be a permanent move. And we still always went back and forth because of my parents' jobs. And so I
Yeah.
felt like I was always in between these two worlds, right? One day we were always going to go back to Brazil, but at the same time, we were living in the United States and we would go back so often. And that's when I became kind of like the storyteller that I love talking about. But I noticed the differences, the nuances between the approach to beauty,
Yeah.
between the Brazilian world and the American world. And I think that moment where I knew there was something special about my background and being Brazilian was when I would wear my tiny bikini
Yeah.
and people would ask me like, how can you wear such a small bikini? And sometimes when I was with my family, they'd ask my parents, the
Oh,
parents,
wow.
my parents, how can you let your daughters wear such small bikinis? And when you're faced with a question where you have no answer to it, because to us, it's not small, it's just a bikini.
Yeah. Yeah.
And obviously in Rio, it's such a strong beach culture. It's a very hot, humid climate. We're a very affectionate culture. So just by the lifestyle that we live, you do show more skin, and we're not ashamed about it. We don't try to hide it. Um,
Yeah.
whereas,
That's beautiful.
you know, so for us it was very normal. Whereas here in the U.S., obviously, in the Northeast, you have your very defined four seasons.
Yeah.
Your body
Yeah.
is covered for most of the time. So we never have, in Brazil, our skin is always in display, whereas in the US, you have this very small window of where your skin isn't covered up. So in a world where, I know we're not seeing each other in person, but I'm not the tallest, I'm not the skinniest, I'm, just an average body type.
Yeah.
And I still felt more confident than my friends who were much taller and skinnier, that fell into that standard of beauty,
Right.
in a more complete way than I did. So I still felt more confident in showing off my skin. I felt more comfortable in my tiny bikini. And that's when I knew there was something special about this difference, that the Brazilian point of view. And
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I don't want to interrupt, but I just want to say that I think what you said is so, like, it's so wise because I think in the West, this is a conversation I've had with many people is that it's not just about like body positivity, it's also about stopping the whole body shaming thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's like so when you're explaining your culture and like how open-minded and like, the body shaming aspect isn't something you grew up around. You know what I mean? It's not something that is part of your, like, you know, just your psyche and the way you approach yourself, your life, like that's a huge thing. And that's something that's, you know, I think it needs to be a movement. Like that's the true movement, you know? So yeah.
Absolutely. And for Brazilians, especially a carioca, which is someone who's from Rio, what is weird to us would be going to the beach and being completely covered. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
what is normal is to show off your skin. And, you know, I don't know if you've ever been to a beach in Rio, but I can tell you no
Yeah.
one, or maybe only one person looks like Gisele Bündchen. You know, no
Yeah.
one looks like a model. You have all colors, all sizes, all ages at the beach, just
Yeah.
enjoying themselves. And I think because our approach to life is to enjoy ourselves and the company of our loved ones, we're always around so many people. That's what the beach is about. You know, it's not
Yeah.
about checking out your body. It's about you just enjoying that time at the beach. And then from the beach, it just extends to the whole city, the whole country.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I can definitely, and I love that you're explaining this in such a like a cultural way, because that's something that, you know, I think the more and more we can learn about cultures, the more we can understand, like, you know, all the different ways we can be human, right? I mean, it's like hearing that. So I think people always want to know that what they want to do is acceptable somewhere by somebody. You know what I mean? So it's like sharing the story is so powerful, because if there's someone listening out there and you're not comfortable with your body and you're wondering, you know, should I buy that next swimsuit or something, like you have to, you know, it's good to understand that there are cultures where it's a beautiful thing to embrace, you know, your skin and who you are, and just your you know, like birthday suit, I guess you can call it, you know. So I love that. I love that you're sharing that. And I actually, you know, I want to ask you, like, before the company, you know, so Janeiro, did you have any experience in the beauty industry before you began, or was it something that just was natural for you?
I did. I was always drawn to the world of beauty. So my first job in beauty was at Clinique, and I was
Mhm.
there for 6 years. And after Clinique, and I worked in all the categories. And then after Clinique, I moved to NARS, which is you know, fashion, makeup. And you know, I learned so much about the beauty world, and even how, you know, the process of launching a product and how to study the market and the whole business side of this beauty world.
Yeah.
But the only thing that didn't resonate with me, that as much as makeup is super fun, um, you're still covering yourself up. You know, you're covering,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you're kind of making yourself, you know, going back to this beach culture. Sorry, I'm gonna start a new train of thought, but I just remember
Yeah.
sitting in conference rooms and people saying like, oh my gosh, this lip color, this lipstick is perfect to go to the beach. And here I am thinking to myself, who the heck wears lipstick in the beach? You know, I mean, if you take a lipstick to the beach, it's gonna melt.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Exactly.
you know, and so that's where that beauty part did not resonate with me, because to me beauty is feeling comfortable in your skin and showing things off instead of covering things up, and
Yeah.
caring for your skin. And you know, instead of, again, covering things up again, like, you know, caring for your skin so that you reveal the best possible version of your skin. And it's not perfect, no one's
Yeah.
perfect, but you know, being okay with it. uh,
Absolutely. And I think, you know, it's one thing about beauty, and I think this is an awesome point, you know, that you've sparked, is that for beauty, when I think about beauty and like individual perception of what we consider to be beautiful, you know, it's a lot of self-acceptance. It's a lot of, you know, the process of going through, you know, I accept myself for exactly how I am. And all of those things, you know, they require you to be, to strip, you know, naked, for lack of a better term, in the most, you know, like dynamic way, because you have to explore, like, what is it that makes me uncomfortable, what is it that I don't like about my body, or whatever, you know. And to be able to like do that, I think that is the whole beach experience. You go there and you're, you know, I've never worn makeup on the beach. I have no idea like how I would even do that. Like I would be
Exactly.
miserable. Yeah.
Yeah, like the thought of wearing foundation on the beach, like, and to me, a beach is like humid and hot. I'm like, it would just all come off. Like, I don't even know how that's even possible. But
Yeah.
yeah, and I totally agree with you in like, stripping yourself, and obviously, I'm not going to objectify anything, but it is more of a celebration, right?
Yes.
Being
Yes.
very, very comfortable, and that time at the beach, it's not meant for you to feel self-conscious in any way. It's for you to enjoy what you're doing at the beach. And in Brazil, you socialize at the beach, right? You spend
Yeah.
time with your friends, you spend time with your families, or maybe you're exercising, or you're by yourself, but it's enjoying that moment and looking at the beautiful scenery and looking at everything that's around you. Like, it's enjoying life. It's not about thinking, oh my gosh, get me my cover up.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's
almost like a
almost like
meditative thing, right? Like it's like a meditative process almost. Like you're really indulging in self-care when you're out in the sun and you're on the beach. Because I know, like for me, I spent, 5, 6 years in the Caribbean, and I realized that it's very similar to what you said. The beaches were very much a place for everybody. No one stares at you, no one makes you feel weird. So I definitely think that that cultural aspect from various areas geographically, like we really need to incorporate that into the US, and really kind of highlight what you're saying more in the way that our social media presents body image. And like I could go on about that, but I'm so like 100% on board with everything that you've explained here, because it's really important to recognize that it's okay. you know you don't always have to, like you said, cover up, or you don't always have to explain why you're doing what you're doing, on the beach when you take your clothes off. Because a lot of times I see posts, for example, someone will post a picture of them on the beach or on vacation or something, and then they explain why they're, you know what I mean, like showing skin, like in the caption. And it's like, you don't need to, you don't need to go into that big explanation. So, yeah.
exactly. And then even, take it to the next level of moms, right? Like,
Yeah.
moms want to enjoy the beach with their kids, and you have to jump in the water, you have to wear your bikini or swimsuit or whatever. But yeah, it's right. It's
Yeah.
nothing to explain. There's only joy.
Yeah. So, that actually takes us to our next question is, can you describe the concept of like body joy and what that means for, Sol de Janeiro's, brand DNA, and just how it's really, embedded into the whole vision for your company?
Absolutely. Body joy, the first version of body joy is our slogan, love it, flaunt it, you've got it. And
Ooh.
we wrote our slogan and our longer brand manifesto, our brand mission, before we had anything. We didn't have products. We didn't know what we were going to launch. We didn't know what aesthetics we were going to have. But what we knew, the three founders and I, Hila, Mark, and I, we knew that we wanted to get a message out to the world. So
Yeah.
that's how the brand started. It was just a message, and we're like, okay, how are we going to bring the brand to life? And that's through product. But everything that we do is about loving, flaunting it, and that's, you've got it. So it's a message about focusing on what you love. And then
Yeah.
body joy is the next generation of that it's the joy of taking care of your body, of taking care of yourself, and
Yeah.
stepping out into the world and feeling great in your skin, and you giving off this positive vibe, and that becoming a chain reaction with the people around you. So we say body joy is a chain reaction.
I love that. I love that. It's like good vibes to the max. I love that.
Yes, and I want to focus on the word joy, because
Yeah.
what we really want to say is Sol de Janeiro creates products for you to take care of your favorite body part, whatever it is, your feet, your boom boom, which means butt in Portuguese, your hands, whatever it is, that we want to take care of your favorite body parts.
Yeah.
But we want people to enjoy that process. We don't want it to feel like a chore. So
Yeah.
it's about caring for yourself a little bit every day, whether it's 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes. The
Yeah.
point is that you're not taking like one day a month or whenever, like let's say you have a wedding to go to, a party to go to, and you spend the whole day taking care of yourself. No,
Yeah.
it's that little bit every single day that gets you to that state of body joy. And the mindset that this isn't a chore, this is me taking care of myself. And
Right.
that's what joy.
Well, I want to just say, as a consumer, one thing I really appreciated about the brand, and I remember this very distinctly because I was in Sephora and that was the first time that I had seen the Boom Boom Cream. And I was like, kind of like, a little like, just very curious, obviously, but it was like, I love how it's like slightly risque and it was very attractive, the concept of like what that cream was, like the product itself, as a consumer looking at that. And I remember when I first purchased that was the first product I'd purchased from your line, and using it and the scent and the whole experience, like it just made me feel better about, you know what I mean, how my skin looked and how my body care, like, that I was using good products and taking care of, just things that I never really thought about before, And so I think that you guys coming out with that product, and it was such a statement, in its own way, even like the packaging and the way the labeling was, like it was very like, here we are, it's a beautiful product. I mean, I love the packaging, and it was like saying, hey, take care of parts of your body that are there for everybody. And so I love the messaging is what I'm really trying to get at, even with something as simple as your packaging.
Yeah, and you know what? Yes, you bring up the package and the scent and the texture, everything we've thought about so that it is a joyous experience. Like, for example, it's this large, chunky yellow, like a ray of sunshine
Yeah.
jar that it's meant to be displayed. It's not supposed to be hidden behind your medicine cabinet or under your sink. So
Right.
it's meant for you to show it off, and the texture is beautiful as you apply it, but then it absorbs quickly and you can get dressed quickly so you can get out and enjoy life. And the scent
Exactly.
also, once you put it on, people notice you. So every element of the product, from the name to the package to the scent to the texture, is meant to bring you joy.
Yeah. And honestly, I wanted to also mention that the scent, like I want you to go into that because the fragrance of the product is just, I mean, it's over the top extraordinary. I mean, when I say that, it's not just the product itself. Yeah, it smells wonderful, but even when I mix it like with my perfumes, like it just elevates the overall sensory, experience I want to have when I put on a scent on top of it. So layering on that fragrance that you put into the products is very easy, and it's such a beautiful combination with almost anything I put on top of it. So can you tell us a little bit more about the iconic fragrances and the beautiful way you crafted your products? Because I think that is something everyone knows about SGJs, that you can use it and you're going to smell amazing all day.
Yes, no, and thank you, because we knew as we were developing this cream that scent was going to be a very important part of our brand. But I'm going to be honest, we didn't know how big it was going to be. We
Yeah.
didn't know that we would be flooded with comments how irresistible this is, or how someone got a date as they were walking down the street,
Yeah.
or, lovers want to get together more often when one of them wears this product. So that to us was a big surprise. And I think that it's a combination of the fact that it is a very sophisticated perfume. It's
Yeah.
complex. There are many layers, and you actually get all of it all at once
Yeah.
with this undertone of something delicious, and you really can't put your finger on what it is. Like,
Yes,
we do tell
exactly.
people, yeah, we do tell people what the fragrance notes are, but you know what people say back to us?
Hmm.
They say that it smells like summer.
Yes.
Peach.
Oh my
They
gosh,
love
yes, it
it.
does.
So they come back to us with a feeling. They don't come back to us saying, "Why? You're right. It does smell like pistachio and caramel." Like they don't say that. They come back with a state of mind and a feeling, and that couldn't make me happier, because
Yeah.
that's how we want to transport people. We want people to feel like they have the state of mind. But from a technical standpoint, yes, we work with top fragrance houses, award-winning perfumers, to help us get there. And it's a process, because it for us, it does have to be sophisticated. We
Yeah.
develop our fragrance in the cream as if it is a standalone fine fragrance, and then we put
Mm,
it into the cream.
that's
So,
interesting.
so it's sophisticated with this element of gourmand that can't cross the line of being tutti frutti or too sweet, So
Yeah.
it's a very delicate balance, and the fragrance development takes us as much time and effort as the product development.
Yeah, and it shows, in the products, and it really shows how much like thought has went behind, especially something like the fragrance, because that was one of my most like, I think for me as a consumer, it was my biggest selling point on the whole line, because once I had tried the cream, I was like obsessed with the scent, and I was like, I have to have the body wash, and I have to have the spray, and I have to have everything. And I remember when you guys released it as an actual fragrance, I was like super hyped. Like it was all over my influencer account. I was like, oh my god, I can't wait for this release. So yeah, I mean, I think the fragrance and the way that it makes people feel, that in itself is like a huge testament to how well crafted your brand is, and I agree with all the feedback you've gotten about how it smells like summer, because it really does, in the best way. So
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
thank you. And
So I yeah.
customers that tell us that, because we're like, yes, you are right. It does smell like vacation.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I want to actually ask you, what were some of the milestones when you first released the brand, and and when it was first a big success? What were some of those milestones that led to all of that success?
Oh my gosh, I have to say that the journey of being an entrepreneur and launching a brand, it's one milestone after another. And one obstacle, one challenge, and in between you have these small successes that bring you up. You're going forward, but you're also going upward. So obviously we spent a year building our message, and then a year developing the products and putting together our website.
Yeah.
So the biggest milestone in the beginning for us that we did very well at was capturing the attention of people. People wanted to know what our story was. They wanted to know what the brand represented and what each product represented. So that was something that I think we did very, very well, and we continue to do so. And I tell the same story since I did from day one to today, but obviously I have a lot more to talk about. But yeah,
Yeah.
that storytelling, what was something that was our big milestone in capturing that attention. And as our customer base grew, again, like that attention kept growing, and we caught the eye of Sephora,
Yeah.
who is a great partner of ours.
Right.
We've been able to grow so much with Sephora. They are perfect. They help us tell our story. They help us stay true to our brand, and they help us grow. So, going from nothing and catching the attention of Sephora was by far our biggest milestone. And it was very, very early on. It was about a year after we launched that we launched in Sephora.
That's amazing. I love that. And then, I think like it's Sephora is very good at like finding like the really truly like amazing brands like immediately. Like it's like they always showcase, like, because I've discovered so much in Sephora. I think like all of us. You know what I mean? You go into Sephora and you find a brand new line and you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know this existed. So yeah, I really like the way that Sephora showcases amazing brands and like also helps you discover things that, for me, like for example, like beauty is like it's a very much larger experience than just buying a cosmetic product or it's like vanity. It's more of like an experience of like, oh, I wonder what the cultural norms are like for this product and where it stems from. So yeah, I like the way Sephora approaches all the brands they work with.
Yeah, and again, so because it was such a huge milestone, they were the perfect partners for us to go from a very small indie brand to we're still quite small, but we're also growing very, very fast. So thanks to that, we've been able to grow and continue to get the attention of other people, other countries and international retailers, and grow internationally. So yeah, like the launching in Sephora was our biggest milestone.
I love that. I really love that. And, I want to actually ask you, this is kind of not off topic, but a little bit different question is I want some advice that you can offer to all those new entrepreneurs out there, especially, women who we all have such different backgrounds. And maybe there's, someone listening out there that also knows of some great little secret that's culturally like there for them and they want to start their own line. So any advice you have for new entrepreneurs, anything at all?
Yeah, well, there's a very long list of advice that come from what we've, succeeded in, and also things that we have not succeeded in. But the biggest one that for our brand, that is very true for our brand, is that we simultaneously took advice from a lot of people and ignored a lot of their advices.
Yeah.
So it allowed us to pick and choose while staying true to the brand. And staying true to the brand is what's going to make your brand survive over time across retailers, across channels. Because in the very beginning, we were told, for just to give examples, don't use yellow in your packaging because it'll, people will think that it's a sun care line or a summer only brand. So definitely don't use yellow. But we knew yellow was the right color for our brand. We're called Sol de Janeiro. Sol means sun in Portuguese. Of course it had to be yellow. And we wanted it to be happy. So yellow just signifies happiness.
Right.
So then they said, don't use the word boom boom on the name. Boom boom is a real word in Portuguese. It does mean but to us, boom boom represents so much more than the butt. It represents curves and the curves of our bodies, and that's what we want to celebrate. So yeah, we were crazy to call this boom boom, Brazilian, but we did it anyway because it told our story. Said don't put the name on the cap because no one ever photographs the cap. Well, I'll tell you that whenever a product is photographed alongside other people's, ours is the name that you can always read.
Yeah.
So
Hello,
can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
It's these two opposing things, is that take advice, but also you have to sift through that advice and make sure that you're stay true to your brand and you always tell your brand story.
Absolutely. I love that. I mean, truly, very, very wise words. And I think, I couldn't agree with you more. I definitely know that it's very hard to start a business, but then, yeah, like you said, staying true to your vision, staying true to, what you really believe in, that's, it's hard. It's really hard. So I appreciate you sharing that. And I hope everyone listening out there, I hope you're, taking note because, part of my goal with Skincare Anarchy is to, have, just amazing people like you, that can give advice and really guide others because I think, you should always lead by example. And I think your brand is it's phenomenal. I've watched it grow over the years. I've watched, from the influencer end, I've seen people just go nuts over the products and it's been so awesome to just see that, because you guys really, it's so well deserved.
Yeah, thank you so much. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna add one more thing is that to the advice and also this message of staying true to ourselves. In the beginning, we had no money. Like we had such little money. We didn't even pay ourselves for months and months. Um, and that actually helped us at the end because we were so much more creative. It
Yeah.
taught us to find different ways, to tell stories and to stay true to ourselves. So that's another thing. Like, don't be afraid. Yes, it's very scary to be an entrepreneur and start a business and have something that you're so passionate about that people may or may not like. But yeah, just plowing through and working hard and believing in your message is so important.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I actually have a question that I wanted to ask you earlier, but I just wanna know, because even from the side, because we're talking about skincare at the end of the day, and when from the skincare aspect, I've definitely not only enjoyed your products in terms of texture and the way that my skin absorbs them, but also I've noticed like it's really had a great effect on my skin and my skin health. And I was wondering, like, what are some of the hallmark ingredients that used in your initial products, if you don't mind sharing that?
Of course, our first approach when it comes to product development is twofold. One, we use high quality ingredients and the second one is that they're tried and true ingredients over generations. We're not looking for the newest trend that a few years later will be out of fashion. We use kupasu butter, which is an amazing product native to the Amazon. It's Amazon's version of shea butter that is even better.
Wow.
And it's been used by indigenous people in Brazil, but also regular people. Like you can make ice cream out of it,
Wow.
and
Yeah.
there have some great properties that it has a very similar molecular structure to our skin, so it's absorbed so easily. So not only is it great for your skin, but it
Yeah.
makes the product feel great too. It,
That's so cool. I
yeah,
love that.
and so almost yeah, every product we have has kupasu butter. We have coconut oil, which is, again, I feel like it became trendy in the US in the last couple of years, but in Brazil we've been using it for everything. We use it for beauty, but we also use it for cooking. We
Yes.
drink
Yeah.
coconut water on the beach. We use
Yep.
coconut milk in our food. So it's part of our culture, and that has again also been tried and true. Acai, acai also, these acai bowls became kind of famous here recently, but
Yeah.
acai has been part of, again, also used by indigenous people to get energy and fight free radicals. And now we use it in our product as well. And the Boom Boom cream specifically has guarana, which is very high in caffeine. And again,
Oh.
used, we even drink it as a soda in Brazil, but it obviously has great properties for beauty. So our approach is get these core Brazilian ingredients that are indigenous to Brazil,
Yeah.
source them sustainably so that there's no damage to the environment or the communities, and use them in our products. So yeah, so it's about the highest quality ingredients that have been tried and true generation after generation.
Wow. I really love that. I love that you've stayed so close to your culture when you formulated your products. That is so beautiful. I see so many brands that are like, they take like little bits and pieces from so many different cultures, but then like, they won't give credit, or they don't do it right, or they don't understand fully the ingredient they're working with. So it's such a like, it's so refreshing and a breath of fresh air to hear you say like, these are all indigenous ingredients, and these are all things that you grew up around and you've seen. I love that. And I agree on the coconut oil, by the way. I think a lot of cultures like people don't understand that it's been around for a very long time. You know, and as an Indian woman, I can say we also are very similar to Brazilian, you know, customs. We use coconut oil in almost everything. So I completely hear you on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, I don't want to stretch this too much, but I have one more question for you, and that's what's next for STJ. I want to know any new launches you guys are coming out with, or any information you can share with us.
Sure. We have a lot going on, so I can't share everything, but I
Okay.
would say two things. Stay tuned for our hair category to grow. Hair has become a very, very important category for us. Brazil is a place that has incredible diversity, and with diversity that means all different types of hair. So we're
Yeah.
building out our offering to offer something for every hair type, and so that people can build a routine around that. So hair is going to grow. And then building on the success of our fragrance, we're going to continue to build that through products, but also through limited edition items, because we have so many scents in our library that
Yeah.
we just want to get it out there. We want everyone to be cheirosa. And
Oh my
cheirosa is
God.
a word that we use in Brazil. It means to smell. Literally translated, it means to have a smell. But when you call someone cheirosa or cheiroso, it means that you smell amazing. And
Oh
so
wow.
important, yeah, that we call all of our fragrances cheirosa because it is such a Brazilian beauty secret. It's a compliment that we give each other. We notice what people smell like. So, so building on that again, you know, just
Yeah.
putting the best version of yourself out there. There are many ways to be cheirosa with Sol de Janeiro.
Oh, I love it. I love that so much. That's very cool, and I can't thank you enough. This has been so fun just hearing your journey and the brand journey, and everyone listening, if you have not checked out this line, you are missing out. I'm pretty sure there's no one out there that has not you know, already checked out, but I'm going to link everything in the art, and I can't thank you enough. Thank you so much for your time.
All right. Thank you so much, Hector. Have a great day.
You too, Camilla.